Hello friends, welcome to the Point. In this session we are discussing about agriculture. What do you mean by agriculture? Agriculture is the process of producing food, feed, fiber and many other desired products by the cultivation of certain plants and the raising of domesticated animals. The wheat grown in the field would fetch a good price in the mandi, from where it would be taken to the factories to make bread and biscuits from that flour. And this transformation from a plant to a finished product, it involves three types of economic activity: primary, secondary, and tertiary activities. Primary activities, it includes all those connected with extraction and production of natural resources. Agriculture, fishing, and gathering are good examples of primary activities. Secondary activities, they are concerned with the process of these resources. That means manufacturing of steel, baking of bread, and weaving of cloth are example of secondary activities. Tertiary activities, this provide support to the primary and secondary activities like transport, trade, banking, insurance, and advertising are examples of this activity. Agriculture is a primary activity. It includes growing crops, fruits, vegetables, flowers, and rearing of livestock. In the world, about 50% of the persons are engaged in agricultural activity, and two-thirds of India's population is still dependent on agriculture. Favorable topography of the soil and climate are vital for agricultural activity. The land on which the crops are grown is known as arable land. Agriculture or farming, it can be looked at as a system. The important inputs are seeds, fertilizers, machinery, and labor. And some of the operations involved are plowing, sowing, spraying, irrigation, weeding, and harvesting. The outputs from the system, it includes crops, wool, dairy, and poultry products. Now let's discuss about the types of farming. Farming is practiced in various ways across the world, and depending upon the geographical conditions, demand of produce, labor, and level of technology, farming can be classified into two main types, that is subsistence farming and commercial farming. Subsistence farming, this type of farming is practiced to meet the needs of one's family. Traditionally, low levels of technology and household labors are used to produce on small output. Commercial farming, in commercial farming, crops are grown and animals are reared for sale in the market. The area cultivated and the amount of capital used is very large, and most of the work is done by machines. Commercial farming includes commercial grain farming, mixed farming, and plantation agriculture. Let's discuss in detail about the types of farming. Subsistence farming are further divided into intensive subsistence farming and primitive subsistence farming. In intensive subsistence agriculture, the farmer cultivates a small plot of the land using simple tools and more labors. Climate with large number of days with sunshine and fertile soils, it permits growing of more than one crop annually on the same plot. Rice is a main crop. Other crops include wheat, maize, pulses, and oil seeds. Intensive subsistence agriculture, it is prevalent in thickly populated areas of the monsoon regions of South, Southeast, and East Asia. Primitive subsistence agriculture, it includes shifting cultivation and nomadic herding. In shifting cultivation, it is practiced thickly in forested areas of Amazon basin, tropical Africa, parts of Southeast Asia, and Northeast India. These are the areas of heavy rainfall and quick regeneration of vegetation. A plot of land is cleared by felling the trees and burning them. The ashes are then mixed with the soil, and the crops like maize, yam, potatoes, and cassava are grown. After the soil loses its fertility, the land is being abandoned and the cultivator moves to a new plot. This is called shifting cultivation, and this cultivation is also known as slash and burn technique or slash and burn agriculture. Nomadic herding, it is practiced in the semi-arid and arid regions of Sahara, Central Asia, and some parts of India like Rajasthan and Jammu and Kashmir. In this type of farming, herdsmen move from place to place with their animals for food and water along with the defined routes. And this type of movement arises in response to climatic constant and terrain. Sheep, camel, yak, and goats are the most commonly reared animals. They provide milk, meat, wool, and other products to the herders. In commercial grain farming, crops are grown for commercial purpose. Wheat and maize are common commercially grown grains. Major areas where commercial grain farming is practiced are temperate grasslands of North America, Europe, and Asia. These areas are sparsely populated with large farms that spreads over hundreds of hectares. Severe winters it restricts the growing season and only a single crop can be grown. In mixed farming, the land is used for growing food and fodder crops and rearing livestock. It is practiced in Europe, Eastern USA, Argentina, Southeast Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. Plantations are a type of commercial farming where single crop of tea, coffee, sugarcane, cashew, rubber, banana, or cotton are grown. Large amount of labor and capital are required for plantations, and the produce may be processed on the farm itself or in the nearby factories. The development of transport network it is thus essential for plantation kind of farming. Major plantations are found in the tropical regions of the world. Rubber is found in Malaysia, coffee in Brazil, tea in India and Sri Lanka are some of the examples of plantations. A large variety of crops are grown to meet the requirement of the growing population. Crops also supply raw materials for the agro based industries. The major food crops are wheat, rice, maize, and millets. Jute and cotton are fiber crops. Important beverage crops are tea and coffee. A variety of food and non food crops are grown in different parts of the country depending upon the variations in soil, climate, and cultivation practices. Major crops grown in India that is the major grains grown in India are rice, wheat, millets, maize, and pulses. Rice is said to be the major food crop of the world and it is a staple diet of the tropical and subtropical regions. Rice needs a very high temperature and high humidity and rainfall. It grows best in the alluvial clayey soil, which can retain water. China leads in the production of rice, followed by India and Japan, Sri Lanka, and Egypt. In favorable climatic conditions, as in West Bengal and Bangladesh, 2 to 3 crops are grown in a year. Wheat requires moderate temperature and rainfall. In the growing season, it requires bright sunshine at the time of harvest and it thrives best in well drained loamy soil. Wheat is grown extensively in USA, Canada, Argentina, Russia, Ukraine, Australia, and India. And in India, it is grown in winter. Millets, they are known as a coarse grains and they can be grown on less fertile and sandy soils. It is a hardy crop that needs low rainfall and high to moderate temperature and adequate rainfall. Jowar, bajra, and ragi are grown in India. Other countries which grow millets are Nigeria, China, and Niger. Maize requires a moderate temperature, rainfall, and lots of sunshine, and it needs well drained fertile soils. Maize is grown in North America, Brazil, China, Russia, Canada, India, and Mexico. The non food crops are rubber, fiber crops, cotton, and jute. Cotton requires high temperature, light rainfall, and 210 frost free days and bright sunshine for its growth. Jute was also known as the golden fiber. It grows well on alluvial soil and it requires high temperature, heavy rainfall, and humid climate. This crop is grown in tropical areas. India and Bangladesh are leading producers of jute. Food crops other than grains are sugarcane, oilseeds, tea, coffee, and horticulture crops. Coffee requires warm and wet climate and well drained loamy soil. Hill slopes are more suitable for growth of this crop. Brazil is the leading producer, followed by Colombia and India. Tea is a beverage crop. It is grown on plantations, and this requires cool climate and well distributed high rainfall throughout the year for the growth of its tender leaves. It needs well drained loamy soils and gentle slopes. Labor in large number is required to pick the leaves. Kenya, India, China, Sri Lanka produce the best quality of tea in the world. That's all for the session. See you in the next session with some other interesting topic. Thank you.